Hey everybody, I'm here today to do a review and first impressions video on this Henckels knife set right here. This is actually the Henckels 14-piece knife set. And in this review, I'll be telling you that every kitchen needs this set. Literally, it's absolutely incredible. So let me give you a little bit of a backstory first. My wife and I bought a Henckels knife set when we bought our first house many years ago. It's probably about 9 or 10 years ago now, and we kept that knife set and we used it for about 9 or 10 years, and I thought it was fantastic until I got this set. This is much bigger, much broader, and has just better quality knives. This set is absolutely astronomically amazing, and I'm not exaggerating. I've pretty much never used a knife set that's this amazing. I don't know if my standards are like what level my standards are, because I'm not a professional chef and I cook as often as I can, but I'm not a huge person on knives, but these are incredible. So what I'll do is I'll go over the 14 pieces with you, then I'll tell you why I think it's so cool. So first and foremost, before I go over the pieces, it's better for me to say this at this point in time. So it actually has extra slots, okay? So you have 13 things here, plus the actual knife block, which is the 14th thing, okay? So 14 pieces in total, and you get these extra slots. So if you want to add in your own knives that you already have, you can use these extra slots. What that does is that frees up countertop space, that frees up drawer space. If you have a few extra knives that you want to add in here, you can use this same knife block, and that frees up other space in your kitchen, because we all know that kitchen real estate, whether it's countertop space or cabinet space or drawer space, is like at a premium, because everything is always so packed. No matter the size of your kitchen, you're always going to fill it with stuff. That's what I've learned. Our current kitchen is like, I don't know, twice the size of our old kitchen at our old house, and we still fill it up. You just always continue to fill it up with stuff. So it's good that they give you this bonus space. Now let's go over each of the knives. Now I've only used probably about 50% of these knives. Some knives I haven't even used yet, just because I haven't had to use them yet. But my wife has used all of them in some way, shape, or form to cut some form of food or food preparation. So yeah, I've watched her and I've used many myself. Let's go over it. So first and foremost, you have the sharpening steel. Okay, so this right here is a sharpening steel. I think it's also referred to as a honing blade, because you hone the knives with this. As far as I know, as far as I can remember, I haven't used one of these in a while. I actually did a video on one before on how to hone knives, but it's been a while. But I believe they use this to hone knives, but it's referred to as a sharpening steel on the product box that I have beside me, off to the side over there. Okay, so if it takes me a moment to sort of say what one of them is, it's just because I don't know the exact terms, to be honest with you. Up here we have basically the biggest knife in the set. I'll place it down over here because I'm looking at the box off to the side. So this is the biggest knife in the set, and this is referred to as the chef's knife. And I will say this knife is huge. I personally use this to cut things that are oversized, like if I'm slicing a watermelon, if I'm slicing a cantaloupe, a pineapple even, I would go with this one. That's just my own personal preference though. Some types of meat I would use this for, but for the most part, it's more for the large fruit. When I'm cutting up, like I have 4 kids, so like, and a wife, so like we eat lots of fruit. So I'm cutting up watermelons, cantaloupes, pineapples, like just on the steady. I'm always cutting one up. There's just always fruit around, basically, trying to keep healthy for the most part. So this is the chef's knife, biggest one in the set, really huge knife, good weight to good quality, okay? Over here, we have, I believe this is the bread knife. I'm gonna double check. This is the bread knife, yes. And to be honest with you, this is what I use. If I get like fresh buns and I need to cut them, this is what I use for that. For the most part, that's really, the type of bread that I would use this for. It depends. If you get a loaf of bread that you cut up, you're going to use that. You're going to use this knife for that. Fantastic. The serrated edge just does a great job at cutting through the bread and the grains, okay? Or a bagel, I would use that for instance. Stuff like that, okay? Next up over here, we have essentially a smaller version of the chef's knife, but they refer to it as a utility knife. Now, essentially, it is a smaller version of the chef's knife. Obviously, they're a little bit different with regards to how they are shaped, I believe. But I mean, at the end of the day, in my opinion, this is like the medium-sized non-serrated knife of the set, okay? So this is the utility knife. You have the largest non-serrated knife, the medium non-serrated knife, okay? Over here, we have a smaller serrated knife, which this is referred to as the serrated utility knife. So I believe, like I said, this is more like if I'm cutting up a bagel, I'd probably use this because it's a bit smaller, easier to manage, or something smaller. If I'm cutting up like some small buns, then I would use something like this, okay? I don't use this one all that often. Some types of fruit that have thicker skin, I end up using this for. For instance, a tomato, I don't know, like I said, I'm not a chef, but when I cut a tomato, I use a serrated knife because the skin, if I use a knife like this, sometimes the skin just gets caught and just starts peeling off. So I use like something like this for like a smaller size tomato, like even potentially like a Roma tomato that's not the biggest. That's what I would use. So this is a serrated utility knife, and essentially this is the smaller of the serrated knives. And then we have over here the paring knife. This is the knife that I use the most. So when it comes to food preparation in our house, my wife does dinner most of the time. I do breakfast most of the time, and then we kind of split the lunch on the weekends and stuff like that. Because during the week, we have daycare and school, so our kids are eating, you know, at school and daycare and stuff like that. Now, with that being said, this is a knife that I use at least probably 10 times a day, between cutting up things at breakfast, like if I'm cutting grapes in halves and quarters and stuff like that, if I'm cutting different fruit. I just use this all the time because of its size too. It's a relatively small knife, easy to handle, quick to wash, quick to dry, quick to put away. So I mean, overall, this is what I use pretty much almost all the time. So essentially with our knives, we have, other than the honing steel over here, the sharpening steel, we have the biggest non-serrated, the medium non-serrated, the small non-serrated, and then we have the biggest serrated and the smallest serrated. You also have a pair of kitchen shears, which is absolutely great for cutting meat. I also use it to actually cut up pizza. It's just easier for me. So these are fantastic. They work really, really well. And then you have 6 of these steak knives. Now, I'm not a big steak eater. I would like to be. I'm not great at cooking them. And I just, you know, I'm more of a chicken eater because that's essentially what my kids and my wife like more. Like, really, I'm the only person who enjoys the taste of steak in my house. So I don't use these all that often. But the great thing is that they can be used for things other than steak. You know, you can use them to cut chicken, any types of meat, which is absolutely fantastic. You want to cut a steak, you want to cut some other type of beef, some other cut of beef, you want to cut chicken. These are very useful, and you get 6 of these. Now, these are great in my opinion because they're all one piece, so you're not getting like a plastic handle or a molded handle. It's all one piece, meaning they're going to last a really long time. Weighted perfectly, in my opinion, and the serrated edge is absolutely perfect. There I am. You can see me in the reflection right there. And you get 6 of those. Like I said, the knife block is good because it doesn't stick out too far. And overall, I mean, it's just fantastic. Like I said, the old knife set, I thought the old knife set was great. It was a bit smaller. I want to say it was maybe like 10 pieces or 8 pieces or something like that. It only had a handful of knives from what I remember. But when I got this, like, it's just absolutely amazing. And yeah, I mean, the knives are very similar between the two, but the quality of the metal in this knife set is absolutely amazing. It cuts really well, it does a great job, and it's built to last. I mean, even with the old set, when you go Henckels, brand reputability for Henckels is absolutely amazing. They're going to last you a long time. Even if you use them constantly, they're going to last you a very long time. And that's it. If you like this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. Let me know what you think down below as a comment. And of course, be sure to subscribe for more great videos just like this one. And that's all I have for you today. Thanks for watching.